I kind of go back and forth on it. Derek, the run and shoot routes of being the timing was so good. I always think in the shotgun sometimes the timing is not that good. It is, I guess, off the RPOs on a glance, I guess. But it's just really downhill pitch in the option. And Dave knows my
Absolutely.
background in the triple, so it's another way of distributing the ball. You can run it. You can run gives, which are, I guess, not even an option. You can run double option in some way,
Hmm.
whether it's a pitch, a man, or a quarterback 2-man game, or distributing the ball down the field. You can run a triple.
Yep.
But you probably should say we're only going to run that one way. We all try to do too much, but
We
that's
had it all in.
yeah. And I've always been a multiple formation guy.
That
Because
too.
I like to get a lot of personnel packages in there so the
Yep.
kids can play.
Yes. That
Yeah, I think this just to grow your program because I think now,
100%.
yeah, I think at our place now.
Especially now.
Well, when Dave was coaching was in 2007 in his second go around. There were only 4 groups then, but 9 through 12 we had 108 kids in the program.
That's phenomenal.
But we're not now. So now
No.
we're going to be more like 75, which would be better than it was this past year.
75 is still great.
But you have to morph it into something. You've got it's all disguised, perfume on a pig type of thinking.
Smoke and
You know,
mirrors.
yeah, and I guess for us, we've tried to play more and more kids one way. And last year we didn't do that, and we had our first losing season since 2005. Now there was a talent dearth, yes, but I don't think we really utilized the players like we could, and we ended up getting kids banged up, and the schedule's pretty hefty for us, and we struggled with the schedule, and we ended up going 3-8. So I mean that's where you got to start doing a check because things do change. Are you doing the right things with your players on and off the field? And I think we spent a good amount of time on that, but you still come back to your roots of what you know.
How do you constantly evolve your system? I think it's one of the things that I found.
We have to ask a lot of those guys that question.
Well. So Derek, to give you a little background, and I'll let Coach expand on that. But Coach, when I came with him in 2004, it was running. We were running the run and shoot. Okay. Then in 2007, I said we were really running like if you were to say the offense, it was really like multiple sets and like personnel based because we ran that whole year. We ran because I did the offensive line. That was the year you asked me to do. I'd never done offensive line before. You asked me to do offensive line, and
we were violent. We were violent up front, man.
Violent, stretching inside zone. We ran. I think that's all we ran, and obviously pass off it, but stretching inside zone. Then when we played you when I was at Old Japan, and we played you in the championship, you were triple. Although you had moved back to the gun more, but you were running that spread Navy option, right?
Yeah.
And so you evolved your system. Now your passing game, I always see similar principles. Like even though you evolve your running game, I still see kind of a lot of your similar principles. But and then watching, highlights because I've been the analyst for Old Japan for the last 3 years. When we've watched your highlights, you've continued to evolve again back to a little more of the run and shoot.
Well, you're probably not watching much film then if you're looking at highlights now. Now, if you want to watch a lot of film, I'll get you the lowlights. That's going to be all encompassing,
Right.
Oh shit.
So here's the deal. So when you're talking about this, I've always been because my background, a very good background in basketball. I played for a tremendous coach in high school, Long Island, and it's about getting good people in the ball in the spots they want to. And then what you find in basketball, I played with a 6'9" kid from down my block, Tommy Hogan. I watch these kids now try to enter the ball in the post, and I want to jump out of the stands. Like you throw a bounce pass at a 6'8" high school kid, and it's coming up right near his crotch. And and you're lead lobbing him into a charge, and you're not throwing the ball directly at his hands when he's got both hands up.
Accuracy.
And I'm looking at this, I'm saying there's certain ways, like if I took you two guys, how do you like to get the ball? We can create an offense. And the first way we're going to create the offense is this. The best way to do it is we can't get Dave Schumann the ball. All right, let's snap it to him. And then we'll look how smart we are, right? Okay, we're not getting Derek and David the ball. Okay, let's go 2-man game. Let's put them both back there. Let's just figure a way to do that. Well, Derek really isn't a quarterback, but he can sprint out. So now they got to play him that way. So, you get different kind of guys. So, I had a kid. I've had so many good kids. I mean, it's ridiculous. At Riverdale, quarterback was Blake Crouch. who was about to get beat. He's a first team All County quarterback in 2007. He's about to get beat out because he spent his whole summer traveling playing baseball, which was the deal because he loved baseball. And he said, I'll be there every day I can be there. He didn't miss one. And we had this kid, Anthony Carnaval, who was playing great. And then Anthony kind of nicked up his knee right around camp. So Blake ended up getting the reps. And Blake was a catcher. He was a sturdy guy. And Anthony was more of a lean guy. And Anthony goes on to have a really good career at Curry playing quarterback. And Blake ends up being a catcher at William Patterson. And, you know, really good football players. But then we kind of moved forward. I had this kid that comes in next. Well, I'm like, this kid's going to be really special. So I actually traveled down to Wofford to talk to them when Mike Ayers was the coach and Wade Lang was the offensive coordinator, running zone triple out of the gun.
Yep.
And I wanted to go underneath some more. I had this kid called, he was an Ecuadorian kid. His name was Garrett Avidable. And if you ever want to look up highlights on a guy on him, like, wow, was he a freak show. And we did a lot of direct snap to Garrett and a lot of underneath stuff with him running just a pure option. We did that for a couple of years. They had a 2-year starter. You know, you always want a 2-year starter quarterback, right?
Of course.
If you can. I mean, sometimes it doesn't work that way. And we went from him to a kid we made a quarterback's kid, Brian McGoey, who was like, he wore number 21. He looked like John Hadle, you know what I mean, for the Chargers. He was put together dude. And we ran a triple with him, and he was sensational. So we stayed underneath, and then we got this kid, Pat McPartland, who I thought was going to be the next quarterback. But in between there, we had this prolific passer who was fat. He's the most pure passer I've ever coached. A kid by the name of Timmy Barnes. All right.
I remember Timmy, yeah.
And Timmy Barnes only had 1 season and 1.5 games because he broke his leg his senior year. But he ended up being a 3-year starter at Georgetown. Right? He was 6'3", like 100 and he was 6'3", 160 as a junior. He was 6'3", 185 as a senior because he went to a dietitian and he went on 5,000 calories a day. And he totally changed his body, you know. And I mean, what a fantastic player he was. And he's the one guy as you got older, you could still, when he was thrown, you could work with him.
Yeah.
I don't like to work with quarterbacks when they're thrown because you got to watch what their mechanics are. But I could sit in a chair and catch a ball from him 20 miles away. I mean, 20 yards away. I just put the ball on you every time. He was fabulous. And then he got hurt, and they ended up making Ryan Duran the quarterback, who was more of a runner, great athlete. Well, Ryan in the 9th game of that season, is this crazy season, he tears his ACL.
Oh.
So Patty McPartland comes in as the quarterback, a little guy, a short, stocky kid, great mind. And we go back to running pure triple, and he can spin it. And you know that in the triple, it's a real problem to spin a triple when a kid can spin it.
Right.
And just we created some things. We had these good backs. This kid Max Cepeda comes into the fray. Dan Nastasi's son, Anthony. I mean, and we were always really good up front, you know. And the next thing you know, we get Dylan Connolly, who's a party trick. I mean, he's running the triple. But then I got David. I got Estevez. He wouldn't bend under center, which I think he could have, but he's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I want to like go in the shotgun. So we put him in a gun, and we totally changed what we did. And that's the poison. Can the next guy do that?
Correct.
You know, and then we ended up with the Siricos, Michael and Mike Sirico, and then Jack Gillies, who you know, Gillies has still got the best base of any quarterback I've ever coached. The strong in the pocket, and you know, then you kind of move along with your quarterbacks. And I got Jake Sconza, and we threw the ball 540 times in 2 years and 22 games with him.
Ooh.
And just lined up in the shotgun, and we weren't good up front. And Derek, I'd stand behind practice to say this: get it out.
Yep, go. Let it go. Let it go.
I say, get it out, extend the play. Get it out, extend the play. That's all I would say to him. And you know, then last year we ended up going with a sophomore, and he's exciting. I mean, he's worth the price of admission. He's more of that Glenn Rock, Scotty Steven,
dynamic type of guy that can make plays.
5'6".
It's usually what it is.
165 pounds, strong as a bull. He's got 10 starts underneath him right now as a sophomore. He's got 2 more years. And we went to bunch empty with him.
Wow.
And ran a lot of rocket toss type stuff and moved him kind of wing T-ish.
Yes.
But he can stand in there and get it out. I mean, he throws a nice ball. So, you know, we think we have some other guys coming behind him that can do those things too. So.
Well, I think you talk about that, right, Coach? Like, I mean, you go through the whole evolution, and obviously, like, the game changes and the kids change, but like, you have to kind of go. And Dave and I have always been good with this. and kind of preaching it is terms of like, hey, you got to know your roster, know
Yes.
what you have, and you got to know